Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Christine from Sewing in the City, and today we are going to be talking about how to buy an iron. So it's no surprise that pressing is the key to professional looking garments. You can even hide some of your mistakes or fix some of your mistakes using your iron and pressing. So the iron is such an important tool. We are going to dive into the most important features that you want to look for when you're ready to invest in a new iron. Before we dive into the specifics of our irons, I just want to mention that our iron is only as good as our technique. So I like to, when I'm making a garment, I like to press as I sew. Meaning if I sew a shoulder seam and then, I'll sew the shoulder seam, then I'll press both shoulder seams. Then if I'm going to sew this side seam, I'll sew it and press it. And that way, when we go to attach the sleeve, our intersecting seams are already pressed flat and nice and crisp, so that as you overlap the seams, then as I would sew on the neckband, my shoulder seams are nice and pressed. And you can see as you layer your seams, it makes for a much neater, more professional garment. Now that that's out of the way, let's dive into the actual features you want to look out for when you're ready to invest in a new iron or buy your first one. Okay, so the first thing you want to ask yourself is, what kind of sewing are you going to be doing? Are you going to be sewing a lot of delicate clothing? Are you going to be doing quilting that requires a lot of steam? Because there are two types of irons. The first is a steam iron. So this is the typical iron we think of available, at our Target and sewing stores, steam iron. And then you have what's called a steam generator. And this is what I have here, my Texie set. It has a full water tank down below where it actually warms up, keeps that water warm, and is a steam generator. So there's two types of irons. I tend to think that if you're just starting out, a regular steam iron is a great thing to have. If you know that you're going to be sewing professionally, maybe you're making, you have an Etsy shop and you're making lots of things almost in an assembly line, or you're doing tailoring or couture, you might want to look into getting a steam generator. Normally our steam irons run anywhere from $20 upwards to a couple hundred. The steam generators can run anywhere from $70 upwards to like mine, which was right around $1,500. Okay, next up is something that I hear people asking a lot, and that is about the wattage. And from my experience, wattage only makes a difference in the warm-up time. So higher wattage is going to give you a faster heating iron. A lower wattage is going to be a little slower to heat up. Next up, probably one of the most important features you want to look for when investing in a new iron, and that is the steam output. So essentially, the higher the steam output, the better your iron is going to perform. The better it's going to iron your garment, your clothes. So when you are looking for whether it's a handheld or a steam generator, you want to make sure your iron has at least 50 grams per minute of steam output. And that way you're going to get a really nice steam function. And anywhere upwards from the 50 grams will give you a really, really nice steam. I love my Texie for the steam. It's really cool. Next, you'll want to check your heat settings. So with a normal steam iron, you'll generally have low, medium, high, and maybe some steam settings, very basic. With a steam generator or a higher end iron, you might actually have more precise heat settings, which can be kind of nice if you're sewing on delicates or bridal or couture. The next thing you want to consider when buying an iron is the tank capacity. So really all this means is, how often do you have to put water in your iron? In a handheld steam iron, you'll generally have a fairly small tank that you'll need to refill pretty often. With a steam generator like mine, you have a very large water tank that you really very seldom need to fill, or just depending on how much ironing you're doing. Next feature is kind of a love-hate feature, and that is the auto off feature. So this is a safety feature that a lot of home irons have. And basically what this says is it tells the iron to shut off after a certain period of inactivity. So some sewists love this because it gives you peace of mind. You never have to worry that your iron is accidentally left on. Mine has a manual turn off and on, which I prefer because sometimes I'll go 10 minutes without ironing and then you come back to the board and your iron is turned off and you have to wait for it to warm up. So auto on is love or hate feature. Okay, I hope these tips have been helpful and give you some peace of mind when investing in your next iron. If you like this video, give me a like or a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.